Okay. Hello, people. I'm trying to adjust this around. Hey, Christmas is near. Oh. It is very, very near. Are you seeing my baby girl? Warm up routine. The code no get part two. I'm telling you that. Welcome to the MungalowCroonings show with Abby and friends. Yes. You know, um, hmm, God, where did I start from? This code's no funny. That's all I can tell you. This code is. I mean, I actually went to Kenji. Kenji is like a Japanese store, and I went and got this fluffy hat that is making my head so warm at night because a lot of people don't know is, well, some people know, you lose your body heat through your extremities being your head, your hands, your feet. So that's why when you see all these films where you see, when white people come, having a hat on, they got gloves, they got thick socks, they have a scarf around their neck. They know what they are doing. They might look like they're not wearing much. That's what is it. They just cover their head. It's because that's where all the body heat gets out of your body. So at night, sometimes it gets very cold because my head is uncovered. So, and I put this over my head when I'm sleeping, but sometimes it slips off at night. So I have this one. This one stays can't wait, and it doesn't even give me a headache. It just stays on the head like that, and you look cute on top of it. So yes, and then I've got my massive hoodie. This one, in fact, hi, because I already knew that I was going to be living in it. I got three, three different kinds. So I just switch. Ah, this thing has saved my life with heating and everything because it keeps you warm, keeps you really nice and toasty, very toasty. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. But it is cold. Ah, let's not lie, it is cold. And with the heating bills that is making everybody frightened now, hmm, a lot of people are scared to put on their heating. But make man no die, make man no rot inside house. I was like, we have to heat the house because the cold is too much. It's just too much. Because soon people will start burning their furniture to keep warm. I'm telling you, the way we are going, people will be burning their furniture. People will be doing that. And even if you want to do kettle, you know how you heat water in a kettle and then you put it inside a bucket and then try and bath. That thing won't work. Oh, let me tell you now. Because the code that is going to answer your name. Hi, nobody will teach you. So yeah, that's how the code has been doing. But the good thing is we're all on holiday. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing because now we're at home. So we are spending more time at home, which is more money, more heating bills, more everything. So it's like, it's good that we're at home, oh, but busy. Anyways, anybody wants to join, please, you have the links, join us, so that we can talk about this situation. Please, all these people that come and put all these dating sites, whatever, get a life. Get a life. You come on someone's feed. You know it has nothing to do with you. You now come and be posting rubbish. That's why one guy came and put himself masturbating because you want to prove a point. You embarrass yourself. Get a life. Go and figure out what you want to do with yourself. What is this? And to you now, you've done something that is amazing. You've only made a fool of yourself. Get a life. Many times we tell you, we created a forum. It's not your cup of tea. Then move on. Find something else to do with your life. Go and create your own forum. You don't have a forum of your own, but you're going up and down forums, going to go and be posting rubbish. Isn't that just a useless waste of life? Well, you should annoy me this evening. No, I'm not in the mood for it. I'm not the one. Anyways, back to regular programming. You see, that's the thing. They're not. They were here watching because they wanted to know what it was. Then post rubbish, and I've blocked them. Now they've gone because they've heard what they wanted to hear. So if you're a person with sense, a person with running, the gray matter that is functioning, come and join us. We will talk. So what are we talking about today? This thing is not funny because Nami they talk, Nami they Nami they talk, Nami they do the whole whatever. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about joint accounts. Hmm. This thing that we want to talk about now, it has caused plenty of problems hmm, in many a life. I'm getting messages from people who are trying to come join us. Yes, just join in. Why are you struggling? No, the link shouldn't be taking you anywhere else. Just bear with me. Some people are saying that the link is taking them somewhere else. So I just want to see what's going on. Bear with me while it is one arm and 20 million ways. Just bear with me. I don't understand because it's to the right place. It's sending me. Yeah. Bear with me, people. I'm trying to, because people are trying to join, but they're saying that. Okay, anyone who's trying to join in, because I'm getting messages. Anyone who's trying to join in, click on the StreamYard if you want to actually be a contributor. If you just want to stay on YouTube and watch, then click on the YouTube link. So you will see the different links there. There's StreamYards to be able to join and actually be a contributor. And then there's yeah, you're on track. Mr. Femi, you're on track. Just continue as you're going. So if you click on the StreamYard will tell you how to get onto StreamYard. So click on it and then you get to us here. I mean, I've done exactly the right thing that I was supposed to do. So I don't know why, you know, it, I don't know why it's sending you in a different direction. Let me just, yeah, it's the right thing. It's the right thing. Yeah. Okay. Let me just make sure. Sorry, everyone. Anyone who is watching and is wondering, why are you going back and forth? I'm just trying to get everything sorted out so that just to make sure that everybody gets the right thing. Bear with me. Okay, so today we are talking about joint accounts in relationships. You know, this one is something that has caused a lot of trouble for many people. You know, it's something that I have seen couples fight over because in fact when you read about relationships and everything, you hear that there are some things that are big factors in making relationships difficult, that causes trouble in relationships. And number one is, funny enough, finance, is money. And part of that is bank accounts, things like that. And then second thing is sex. But the first thing is money. So it's not actually, that is the money of it. Like, okay, we have now joined together. What happens with our money and stuff like that? And you see in this situation where many relationships struggle, like they struggle to make it, is like, God, how we go do it? And in that same thing, you will see some relationships that are okay, they are thriving, everything seems to be okay. And you're wondering what's going on. Why is one side of relationship struggling and the other side like fine? Now ahead, that reminds me, because as I'm remembering, for the people who have sent me messages asking for Mr. H, Mr. H sent a message saying that in South Africa, I didn't know that this was happening in South Africa, but in South Africa at the moment there are power outages, and basically NEPA, they strike for their side, like the power just goes. So because NEPA, they strike, there's power outages, they are struggling with, they're struggling with, being able to connect online and things like that, because power outages is a problem. When there's no electricity, then how do you function with everything else? So those who are asking for Mr. H, that's the reason why you have not seen Mr. H. I'm not hiding him from anybody. He's just not been able to join because of this situation. So now going back to the situation, right? uh You see some relationships, they actually thrive. Like that, you'll be like, what's going on here? Nothing's there don't seem to be any fight over money. And there are, well, several reasons why. Number one, the guy is very rich. He's the one taking care of everything. So there's nothing to fight about because the woman is not contributing one cup of her money. Everything is going well. The guy pays for everything. So when you're not contributing your money, what are you fighting about? The only thing you might end up fighting about is the decisions the person who is, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So the person who is, shelling out the money can now be making some demands that you be like, so because they are paying, now I don't have mouth to talk in this house because 1 naira of my money is not dropping, or £1 of my money is not dropping. Well, technically, what comments do you want to make over someone else's dough? Unless the person's putting you like on an allowance, and then the allowance is yours. But it's just a bit too complicated to have an opinion. The second thing is when it is the woman who is making more money. Hey, you see that ego, is a problem, because it's now, how do you want to, I said I wanted to eat okra. You went and made spinach. Is it because I'm not earning enough money like you? So even when she's doing all her duties at home, fight will come because of the man's ego. Ah, what happened? Why is there why is there only sports one something something? Because that's the channel you always watch. I didn't see the point in paying for extra cable when you only watch what kind of, hey, is it because I'm not making enough money like you? Even when you had money, you ain't paying for extra channels, but because it's the woman, suddenly you have a problem. You know, you all kinds of stuff. So that is another problem. Another problem is when they are both contributing into the house, right? But one person feels that they shouldn't be contributing as much, or that they feel that, you know, somebody should be contributing more. So I'm contributing too much, or somebody should be contributing more, or whatever, and that can cause problems. So I looked back into my childhood to try and figure out, wait, what was going on in my house? Why was there no fight? I've never seen my parents quarrel about money. They've never quarreled about how anything was spent. Never. And then I looked back and I was like, wait a minute. Hey, if today's man hears what my dad did, they will have all kinds of things to say. But what they will fail to realize is that the man had peace of mind. Now, do you know what my dad did when they were married? My dad's dead, so my dad's been dead 23 years. So my mother has been a widow for that long. But when they were alive, because this is something I witnessed into my, late my young adult years, was um sorry, I just realized something I did. So I was like, my brain just froze. I had okay. So what my dad did was when he got his salary, number one, he did it so that his salary was paid into a joint account that him and my mom both had, right? I'm still trying to see why Mr. Femi hasn't joined. I don't know what the problem is. Just bear with me. I'm trying to see why he's having a problem. Sorry about the pause. Mr. Femi. Uh-huh. I'm sure you can hear the echo. So I've used the exact same code and gotten into the studio. I don't know why it's just taking a longer route. So it's asking you to go through your YouTube and everything, but you will actually be able to join, because I was wondering what the problem was, why you couldn't join, and I've just joined. So that's using StreamYard. And if I go on YouTube, what the problem was, why you couldn't join, and again, I've just joined on YouTube. So that's using StreamYard. And if I go on YouTube, what the problem was, why you couldn't join, and again, I've just joined. So YouTube and StreamYard are working. So Mr. Femi, I don't know what the problem is, but both of them are working. So anybody else who's trying to join and is saying that they're having problems with YouTube or StreamYard, they're both working. So just join us. Anyway, so what did Daddy Dearest do? Daddy made sure that his money got paid into their joint account. And I always used to see my mom give my dad an envelope. It didn't, like when you're young, you don't, I gave him an envelope. But what then happened was my mom would be the one to withdraw an allowance from that salary, put it into an envelope, and give it to my dad. And that basically is the money that my dad has on himself. That's okay. Oh, I vex. So I want to go out and hang with the boys. I want to go and that's the money he has on him. Now, it doesn't mean that if that money should finish by some weird reason, that he can't come back and get more money. But it was this is your, do what you want, don't bother to ask anybody kind of money. While my mom used the rest of the money to manage the house. So our school fees got paid from it. So it was like my mom was paid because it's joint account. It's not just her account. Just my dad's account. It was a joint account. But my mom basically was the one who was controlling it. So our school fees, but we knew that dad was the one bringing the bulk of the money. There was no question about it. We knew who was the person that was supplying the money because his job was better. So things like, filling the cars. So it was a huge responsibility because everything inside the house she has to make sure that it runs because the money is there. So she can't come and say, there's no gas. So for where? Madam, how? The money is in your hand. You can order all the gas cylinders you want. You can do whatever you want to do with the money, but just make sure that the house runs. So she really was she was a manager. And I think it was from her I learned how to manage my own home when I started living by myself. Yes, and I said home because one person is living in it doesn't make it any less of a home. Please, because people will be like, ah, but you're single. Why are you saying home? It is my home. I live there. Yes. So I think watching my mom manage, take money, no matter how big, no matter how plenty, and or how big or how small, and she would make sure that everything that needed to run ran in the house. And when things turned upside down, as they do sometimes, my dad still made sure that whatever money he got, wherever he got money from, it went into that account. And my mom would still make that money. So whether it was 500,000, whether it was 50,000, whether it was 5,000, Mrs. Idowu made sure that money worked in that household. Now, what did she do with her money? Because again, it was joint accounts. So was she contributing all of her money into the accounts? Hey, she went the way of women. But she also she said it as an advice that look, again, it's a very Nigerian thing. Nigerian men don't really like the idea of their wives being the one paying money into an account. It's this ego thing that works well for us financially. I will not lie. So my mom would be like, when she gets her salary, she puts 60% in the joint account, but then she has a private account where she puts the 40% in. Now that 40%, she doesn't touch it, she doesn't do anything with it. She left it there. And it actually worked out good because when someone hey Mr. Femi, please put on your camera because without your camera I can't add you on. It's not letting me add you. I don't know what's going on. Oh. Your camera and your microphone, both of them are off. One or the other or both has to be on for me to be able to add you on. So please do that. So, anyways, it worked out good because you know what happened? She would put the 40%, but my mom hardly touched the 40% because, well, the household money, the joint money was enough to cover everybody's needs. So, when things turned around for us for the worse, and there was no money, like, whoa, that's when all that 40% she had been keeping, Madame broke the door. And that 40% at least tidied us for about a year and a half or so until dad could regularize himself again. And then things started going back to normal. So she didn't keep her money and then use it to be doing every latest fashion that was happening in town, every latest jewelry. My mom did some gold investments, which helped because that gold was the first to be sold to deal with a lot of things. So she did some gold investment. My mom always says, if you're going to buy jewelry, buy gold. I haven't always followed it because gold is not cheap in the market. So sometimes I want to wear jewelry, but I don't have money for gold. So I just buy small pandalicious. You understand what I'm saying? But Mr. Femi, please, can you let me send him a message? Maybe he can hear me. I don't know what's going on. Please put on your camera and microphone. Thank you, sir. Okay. Well, I think you'll try and come in again. But anybody else who is willing to come in, please let us know. So, so I couldn't really follow the advice of getting gold and everything. But she didn't use it. Of course, my mom was a partial. Hey, even till now, I said, woman, they quarrel. She still goes to parties. She has a nice time and all of that. But everything was in moderation. She didn't always buy, the ashrabi. She bought some. Like depending on how close she was to the person, she would buy. She didn't. She wasn't extravagant. And then when we now started going to deeper life, it just made life easier because then nobody's expecting her to be wearing, that kind of, eh, no jewelry again, all of that stuff, So it helps with uh, the expenses. Yes, it helps with the expenses. But that's another thing. My mom taught me to always have a secret stash that I don't go near. Okay, you have to change your setting. I can't affect your laptop, so it's from your side. Yep. Please, if you're having problems with connecting your um camera or microphone, I don't have any control. There's no way I can control it from here. So just check your settings. Check your settings and adjust your settings, and it should be able to let you in. So go and look at what your mic and your camera is saying. Okay. So, again, that's another lesson I learned from her because, hey, one thing you can be sure of Abby do that I do well. I can make £50 out of £1. The way I will scatter pieces that £1 there, even the £1 will fear. And I know where all the cheap things are. I know where I can get good bargains. I know where I can haggle. This guy has haggled in Sainsbury, Tesco, Morrison's. Me, I don't send though. Shebi is my money. The worst you tell me is no. So if I see something and I think okay, maybe I can be able to get like 10 or 20% off, I am going for it. Everywhere there's a coupon, there's a um all these loyalty cards, everything, I get them. I am not ashamed. It is money. Why would I be ashamed? And if I walk into a store and I pick up something very, very nice looking and I walk to the counter and they say, it is critical pound, I don't have it. I have no problem saying, oh, next time. Thank you very much. It was nice touching it. I will walk away. I have never used shame. No, let me not say never because I have to think. But the possibility of me using shame to buy something, ah, you will try. Because at the end of the day, what am I shaming for? You? I'm not shaming for anybody. I will put it down and walk out. So, anyways, I'm trying to think. Have I used shame to buy anything? I'm sure I have because I've been stupid before in my life. I just can't remember now. Because my stupid ways are forgotten. They are forgiven. They have been thrown into the river of forgetfulness. That's why I can't remember. Hey, this is a bit lonely. Nobody, and imagine, people were in during the day when I was trying to set up the whole thing. People were like getting in touch, and then I've sent out a message to everyone, reminding them, and I'm just being ignored. There's no football because that was last week. That was the excuse people used last week. There was football, but I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I used to do this show by myself. I didn't have anybody joining me. I did it for a solid year. I didn't die. So if nobody joins me, I will do the show and I will not die. You always have to be ready to adapt to change. So, well, that's what happened in the Idowu household. Dad put the money in the account. Mom puts 60% of her money in the account. 40% was tucked away for a rainy day. Rainy day came, and that money sustained us for about 18 months, going to 2 years, right? So thank God for that. So that money tucked away was not for partying, it wasn't for clothes, it wasn't for anything, it was for rainy day. And then apart from their joint accounts, they had a savings account where a certain percentage also went to. So both of them put the exact same amount in the savings account. Unfortunately, with the way Nigerian economy is, the money rises, the money falls, so you can never be too sure. Okay, Mr. Femi, I hope I can add you now. Hey, praise the Lord. Hello, Mr. Femi. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me. Oh. Mr. Femi, is it cold that is doing you that you're not smiling? Hello?
Connect.
Hello?
30 minutes of
Ah?
trying to connect. Yeah,
I didn't hear you. What did you just say, sir?
I said I'm exhausted. 30 minutes of more than I have been trying to connect about 5 minutes before.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened because I used the same code and I connected immediately. So I don't know what happened. The connection is really, really bad. I'm struggling to hear you. So the connection from your end is so bad. Okay, yes. Omobola said the network is terrible. So I don't know. Is it network to join? Is it network from your end? I don't know where the issue is. Omobola, can you come and join, please? Join through StreamYard so that you can, contribute on the comments. Thank you very much. So at least we know that there's a problem with the network because I don't know what's going on here. Mr. Femi, you look like you're asleep. This network is not doing you good.
Yep,
If we could even hear your voice and it was
I
that your
can
face wasn't
and
moving.
clear. Can you hear
Hello?
me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, let's see whether we can hear you. Can you tell us your idea about joint accounts? What's your thoughts about it? Hello?
You can you hear me?
Yes, if you just go ahead and talk, sir. Okay. Uh, I don't know. We can't seem to get Mr. Femi. Okay. It's not working because can't hear anything. I don't even know if he's talking at the moment. Nothing. Okay. So, anyways, I'm looking forward. So, Mobola, please come share with us what your idea is about joint accounts in relationships. Now, that is a married couple. My parents were married. So that worked for them. And again, it worked for them because the man, honestly, and I'm not saying this because he's my dad, is the truth. That man did not have ego at like okay, he had ego, but his ego was not in the things that I've seen a lot of people fight and bicker about for ego's sake. No, that was not my father. Now we are talking. Mr. Femi, you're looking like you're part of us. Hey, I was wondering where that smile was. What
I am
happened?
switching between devices, my laptop, my Android. I'm just
Stay
switching
on
it.
this one. This one is the one. This one is the one, please.
Okay.
hmm So please tell us your thoughts, your idea on joint accounts in relationships. I don't know whether you heard when I was talking about my parents.
Yeah, you see, yeah, I had little bit, but I think you mentioned what you said, 40% and then yeah, as I always say in every situation, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
In every situation, there is the good, the bad, the ugly. So we
Mm,
can't tilt towards one side. And I think I was having a chat with someone before I start struggling to join. I think 5-10 minutes before the hour, 8 o'clock, and I was saying that in every situation, there's always the good, the bad, the ugly. Um, Joint accounts, comprised of two people, either two friends, either a man and a woman, partnership or married. Yeah, it involves two more than people coming together. But when it comes to marriage, I think there should be a safeguard, and that's where things get wrong. Safeguard
mm,
means the two must endorse the signature before any transaction. Where people get it wrong is that, anyone, and then when the guy is annoyed, clears the account, or when the lady is annoyed, clears the account. I had a story with a friend in Aruba who who was working in Barclays Bank in Aruba, and the guy is entrepreneur, but the guy feels insecure. I also said that to a friend before I joined that when a man feels secure because the wife is earning more or vice versa, is
mm,
that's a red flag. So the guy feeling secure because the lady is earning a corporate lady who's up to be the auditor of the whole Barclays Bank in their country. And Aruba is a small country. So
mm,
at the time they divorced and then the guy went away, the guy cleared the whole account and then turned the woman to
mm.
turn her to a wretch. Let me use that word. But can you imagine if there is safeguarding in that joint account? That A and B, that means without A, B cannot withdraw. Without B, A cannot withdraw. So there and then that would be like, wow, I can't rip up this lady, I can't rip up this guy. But to me, with my experience here from my parents and myself, I would say I can paint the good side, I can paint the bad side for my parents, I can paint the good side of mine based on what I went through. But it just that I don't know. When I was growing up, I always have this. I don't know. I will always refer to my cousin who opened my eyes to things of the world and then trigger my sensibility. That's the way I would say it.
Mm,
The guy triggered my sensibility, triggered me into seeing things beyond myself. And then I've always lived, even though by day I don't know what safeguarding is, I always live. We did that conference, I know what should, in case anything happen, why don't I do it this way? Why don't I do it this way? Why can't I? So in every situation, there is the good, the bad, the ugly. We are all evil, but the ability to curtail the evil side or put them under check means that, Lord, I know what? I'm not happy with her, but I'm still going to compose myself and allow her to have her way. I'm not happy with him. I'm just going to compose myself and allow him to have his way. So 50-50, let's discuss, share things and go away. But when this ego, I will deal with her, I will deal with him, comes to play, we just want to make her cry, subject her
mm.
to agony and hunger, vice versa. So I'm not going to speak as if it's good, it's bad. There is always both sides of a coin. That's me for you
Mr.
on this
Femi,
issue.
without deviating much, honestly, I think I've had this conversation with you, or maybe on a forum where you were, and I stand by it. The men of the day that we are in now, the men of these days, they're not like our fathers. Because when I was talking about my dad was a military officer, my mom was a
Mm.
teacher. Obviously, you know that the military officer is earning 50 times more than the teacher,
Mhm.
but they had a joint account. And I
Yep.
was saying this, that men today, if they hear what my dad used to do, they'll most likely faint. Because my dad would put his salary was paid into the joint account. And every month, I would see my mom give my dad an envelope. It was when I grew older that I realized that my mom was one who gave my dad an allowance from his money. So it
Trust.
was a joint account.
Trust.
But yes, that's the thing. And it's not just even trust, it's a case of character. Because when you know that the money in the account, you didn't really contribute to it, why would you go and clear it out? That's theft. It means that you weren't brought up well. It means you don't have character. No matter how angry you are, did my parents quarrel? Yes, they did. But they never went and stole what the other person had. In the person's before, the person is not dead.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're angry, you're not going to rob them. It means that your upbringing is faulty somewhere.
Yep.
It means
Pata
that the way
pata.
you were brought up, something is not right.
No, they
That
have.
you think it is okay. You know that if they look at that bank account, maybe 2% is what is your own inside that you contributed. You're not gonna empty the whole thing, and you stand and you say, mokpale my account, yeah, thief.
Yeah, but at the same time, let us engage in a robust discussion of
Mm-hmm.
that, because to me, I remember. I think maybe the first time I joined your discussion, I made this statement that even though my children is far away in Nigeria, and then I don't have anything to do with their mom, I still pay the allowances into her account to take care of the younger one and the second one. I still pay, but now that the two older ones are above 18, I had to force them to open an account. Now, guys,
Mm,
you've got to now know how to run an account. Beside that, the money still go through their mom to them, because I make sure that I trigger that authority under who is with them back in Nigeria. And
mm,
then, as I've said to you, I've always lived my life in alliance with safeguard, even though I don't know what it means then.
mm,
So yeah, so the joint account that existed since, what will I call this? Will I say since 1999 or 2000? Those two accounts are still there, but nobody can have access to it. Either myself, either her, except the
mm.
two. So maybe that will have happened that, okay, yes, it's time to strike. But as you said to you, talk about character. No matter how annoyed you are to me, if you see that this guy is trustworthy when it comes to that money, the spirit that will come into you to want to fight back with that money, you know, no, I'm not happy with him. I want
But
to
it's not
divorce
even
him.
your own to fight back with now. It's not your own to really, it's not really your own to fight back with, is it?
Yeah, but that's your conscience. That's to your conscience that it's not mine. I'm not
Ah,
going to.
okay.
That's your conscience. Yeah. Some people say, omo, pata pata la foju, kuno kuno la dete. Let me cry
That is my
to.
pension. It's my pension. I'm taking it.
So when it comes back to that, no, it's a scenario whereby we paint a scenario of, I want to get back to him. Let me use this. I get back to him and let me do that. It's complicated, but you see, joint accounts has its pros and cons, because in some situations you see where certain beneficiaries features could become complicated. There may be some complications, and some scenario they having access to single account holder at times could drain the account at any time without permission, blah blah blah. And also in terms of dependence, if that is okay, yeah, this is it. And now this is what some people do, which I did. Yeah, you know
Before you continue, Sister Ibidu, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, Mr. Femi, please continue.
yeah. The source. Okay, yeah, you said your dad was a salary earner. Yeah, I've been an
They
entrepreneur.
were both salary earners. They were both
Okay,
salary earners, but his salary went into the joint
joint
account.
account.
My
All of
mom
your
would
mom,
give him, my
all of your
mom
mom's
also
accounts.
earned, but she put 60% in the account and then she kept 40 in a personal account. And this is what, and that's what I'm saying about character, because Yes, my mom would take out an allowance and give my dad from the joint account. So that was his
Okay.
money to do with as he wanted. And then she
Okay.
would manage the entire family. So the fuel that ran the cars, the gas that was used in the kitchen, the everything, she sorted it out. She was the manager. And it was
Okay.
a case of, playing to each other's strengths. But when things turned around, when my dad had to leave the military and then there wasn't money as much and everything, that 40% that she had been keeping aside, that 40% almost like made our family survive for at least almost 2 years before things regularized with my dad and he could start putting money back. So she wasn't keeping that 40% for Ashoebi and handbag and shoe. She just kept it for rainy day. That
Mm-hmm.
anything can happen. My mother is
Security, exactly.
like,
Security.
she's a
Yep.
pessimist. She doesn't believe that good times stay all the time. She always believes that good time yeah, kasha gbadun but it will change. She's always like that. So when things turned around, she wasn't afraid because the 40% she had been keeping for about how many years, 20 years of marriage or something, had grown into something big. And that's what she used to just maintain that family, keep us going and everything, until my dad was able to regularize himself. But I now realize that the kind of trust, the kind of respect, the kind of character that made that to work in their marriage is very rare these days. Is very rare.
Yeah,
I
because
don't think I
there's
can go
no.
into that kind of union.
Yeah, yeah, I respect your stand on that point. But let me say one thing here. You see, the issue of insecurity goes a long way.
Mm,
The issue of insecurity, when a man feels insecure because the wife or the female partner is earning more than him, that's a red flag. Or vice versa. Or okay, my husband, my partner is earning more than me, so how much is she now? When that insinuation comes to play, either of the both male or female, that's trouble. That's a red flag. Because why? It
mm,
will build in you, and you express it at any time. Because you see, when we allow inequity of income to cause an imbalance in between two partner, it's not the best. Because you're thinking
mm,
I earn more than her, she earn more than me, or vice versa, and then no. If you know that, okay, that could trigger like indifference, that could trigger me undermining you or feeling secured. Okay, why don't you do it this way? Okay, you earn 10,000 in a week, in a month, you earn 8,000. Okay, let's come to balance. Let's have a joint account of bringing yours and I bring mine. You have your personal account, I have my personal account. We have a joint of
mm,
household trust. Blah, blah. Yeah, there has to be a discussion of how to express. But
mm.
your dad and mom is like they're sincere to one another. Sincerity,
Yeah, there was no
character,
wahala, not that I
exactly.
know of.
Exactly. And now you come to tell us now that even the 40% was also like a backup thing. when
Mm-hmm.
when there was like a drought, that now that was a reserve that she went to keep the family to survive for the next 2 years. So it depends. But when you begin to put your eyes into what is she doing with that 40%, what is he doing without, it triggers insecurity, and then it fester, and then that is it. And especially when you allow a third party to see what's going on. Ó ti ń lórí
Mm.
ẹ̀ nìyẹn, 40% ẹ̀ kí ló fi ń ṣe. It becomes complicated. But when you have this
Do you,
ability.
Mr. Femi, do you know? Sorry, sir. First of all,
Go ahead.
Oluwabumi, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for, and then Dr. Seno, thank you for joining us. I'll be calling on you later. Mr. Femi, do you know there was actually interference at a point, and it wasn't even from my father's side; it was from my mother's side. Like, eh, yeah, you're contributing money with a man, kiniko. Why would you doing that? That is stupid. You're trusting a man. You don't know that today's men, blah 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 blah. And my mom too wanted to get swayed along that. Shebi is the head of the house. Why can't he? And my dad immediately arrested it. I remember when they had that meeting. Trust me, Gulma, I went and stood and I heard though. And it was like, in all the years you and I have been together, have I dealt with you wrong? So why would you let somebody who is going through a divorce, who has gone
Hmm.
and got, now come and tell you who is in your marriage and nothing is going on? You're the one who is commandeering all the money to start telling you to go and buy land to hide money away. All everything that I'm
Hmm.
doing, when you put money in an envelope for me and you say this is your allowance, have I ever quarreled with you and said no, you can't give me this amount? Whatever you
Hmm.
give me, I take. And
Hmm.
someone has come from nowhere. You don't have a problem in your marriage, oh. There's nothing wrong with your marriage, oh. The person just came and heard. And you too, you went to go and tell them that this is how we do money in our house. And the person is not telling you, no, you're trusting men. Is it men you're trusting like that? Hey, and you too, you now started trying to do konima and konima. And honestly, I learned a lot in that meeting. I wasn't meant to be there. They didn't even know I was there because my room was close to where they're having the meeting, so I could hear, but I learned a lot about communication, how you communicate with your partner. You don't fight, you don't struggle, you just state facts that they cannot argue with. It's facts. And you see, when you can come to a table with your hands clean, there's nothing sweeter than it, because all you have is facts on your side, you know, but
Yep.
also not with ego. Because my dad didn't come with ego like, Emi Moshate, like, I'm the one who's putting most of the money safe. So how dare you? How dare you go there the money I'm going to be spending for other things? Nothing. It was just like, think about it. What is this for? Isn't this for the success of our family? Our family has been running successfully. I now want to take an outsider's advice to turn our
Hmm.
successful family into something that is unsuccessful. Is that smart to you?
Yeah,
So
don't
they had
forget
their
there will always
issues.
be.
Oh, mhm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Continue, sir.
There will always be trials because but some trials will consume, some trial will be a stepping stone to the next level. You see, family interference is bound to happen, but most of the time, I'm sorry to say this, most of the time, is always interference from the wife female side, and then
Really?
as soon as it comes in, yeah.
Okay.
No. I'm not talking in generality whereby when the man is misbehaving or side shifting or yeah, let's take that apart. I'm talking of when there's mutual understanding, real love between the two. Most of the
Mm,
interfering that I know, tell mom, turn DC, they wants to now come in. Most of the time, based on what I've seen so far, my experience is always from the it's for me always from the female side. Because why? And they
mm.
start talking on for around learning what they start having a joke and then interrogate and then jokingly say, okay, so we take a DC here, bang, they launch.
Mm.
And to me, I can testify to that. When you about talk, what to fair or back with family, and instead of hey, stop that.
That you've married
And
your
because
husband and you've forgotten your family. Okay.
I told them you, and then that thought begin to and before you know it, the same man you love, the sincerity, the same man you give everything, you're thinking, okay, I'm for Gumumini. And before you know it,
Have
things
I
start
been jazzed
happening.
into this relationship? Let me change
Exactly.
ways.
But the problem is they don't know anything about you, but you just create a crack, and they came in through the crack, and then the rest is story. I was
Okay.
canceling a guy before. I was canceling a couple before I left Nigeria. I was canceling a couple when I left Nigeria. These two guys were on for for about 15
Nana,
years.
Nana, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you, love.
They were on for 15 years, non-stop, no family, nothing. And then on an Easter vacation, the lady went travel outside Lagos to meet her cousin, and then bang. From that Easter, there was a serious battle. So you mean you got married to your husband and you reject us? What's the rejection? When this guy is traveling to their hometown, blesses the father-in-law, mother-in-law, and everybody. But just because those, Yoruba said, "Omode o le ṣeré fógún ọdún," àbí what is that kind of
The
adage?
20 friends can be
But
friends for 20 years. Yeah.
yeah, but they still want her back into that clique, and and this lady have been married for 15 years. Before you know it, she was soaked into that negativity, and the marriage almost just so tiny. If not for the stepbrother who who is far away somewhere and came back to the country and did his underground investigation
Mm,
and realized that, you know what, bro, you are a threat to them. Because why? Since you got married to her, they are not getting enough from her. And instead of her to severely
mm,
show that, you know what, guys, I'm not married, I'm now secondary to you, not primary. That was the saving grace of that marriage. Because you see, at times when we hold on to our partner and then we say we love, we should guard ourselves against external assault. It's so
mm.
subtle, but it's so powerful. So the joint account, as I've said earlier on, is the good, there's good, the bad, the ugly. But when we have that safe guy, your dad applied that, but you don't know. That safe guy, I know what, I'm going to allow her to run the show. No matter how people say maybe I'm so done, so allow that to happen. I will allow her. And then at the time she's now bringing that situation to fall, that trigger, it's true. I'm trying. I think I bought a lie here, so I have to drop these lies and go back to my husband. That's safeguarding. But
Yeah.
if your dad has begun to play some smart game in between, those smart game will come to expose. I know what, I don't even trust you. I'm just playing along. You could look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 situations, and that would have been the end. But she said, you know what?
Yeah.
I will give everything to her. I will allow her to run it, and I will stay there. And that really brought that back your mom back to her sense. You know what? That woman is trying to creep into my marriage. Is trying to. She's not having that peace, and she doesn't want me to have peace. So that be mushy, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will not
Definitely.
erase. Yeah, I will not erase joint account in totality, but I will say let both parties apply safeguarding, so that will be that if
Okay, Mr. Femi. Dr. Seno, are you there? Thank you so much, Mr. Femi. Those are very, very good points you've raised. Very, very good. And you've also, clarified it in a way that even I can understand my parents' relationship. So thank you for that. Dr. Seno, are you
yes,
there?
Yeah, I'm here actually. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Dr. Senu, let me see your face. So let me see our Dr. Senu
Okay.
of
Well, you
the
can see my face in my picture. I just don't have my camera because I was using it
Okay,
for a
that's all right.
work-related
So
you
thing.
don't use that.
But no, it's true. I'm not using a phone,
Okay,
and I don't want to
I thought
get a blooming webcam. But you can see my
it's
picture.
I
okay.
thought you are trying to use
We
that
can
to
see it's okay. We
shove
did
our
hear
shoe.
you.
Come up here.
So Dr. Seno, what are your thoughts on this topic, please?
Okay, the way I will start by saying because I didn't hear what other people said before, which is not good. I see the Femi now is now looking like a gentle person. And do I hear Soroton? Anyway, I'm joking. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Don't
We
mind the
can.
Femi. You now put a proper picture of your JJ. This man. Anyway, let me just not waste your time and say what is on my mind. Now, the issue of joint accounts, there are different ways to look at it. So, a man is earning, a woman is earning,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a home and they have responsibilities. Then they now say that okay, let's start from when a man lives alone, he will pay his rent, he will pay his electricity bills, he will do his own stuff. When a woman lives alone, she will do it. If they are friends and they're not even partners, but they happen to live in the same house, they might have to share bills. Everybody will share from their own pocket. You see, but when it now comes to a relationship, it's a bit different. And the difference, there are some very fundamental differences. When people get married, the transition from me to we is very, very hard. And it's very hard in the sense that everybody will always use examples, not of people who have been married for 50 years, but the ones who married for 2 years and are divorced. So because of that, they will always say, come, I can't come and let another human being have control over my finances. Okay? So because of that, people in relationships who have not learned how to get into a relationship to the level where they can fully trust their partner, they will never be comfortable with a joint account unless it is an account where the money there is just being used for joint things. Okay, so these are the bills to be paid. This is the children's this and that is it. And everybody keeps their own money. So we now have relationships where the woman doesn't even know exactly how much her man is earning, and the man doesn't know how much his wife is earning. I'm assuming now that they're both working. Now, in some ways, it only matters if there is pressure on one person to be doing most of what should be done when the other person may be able to afford it. Other than that, does it really matter whether you know how much your spouse is earning? Not really. And the earnings may change, but sometimes the first time a woman knows how much her husband earns or vice versa is when they now have a financial somebody coming to the house. They either want to get a mortgage, a joint mortgage, a new mortgage,
Or
or they have to do
EFCC.
something. Then everybody now has to tell the truth in front of their spouse. In fact, some of these people are interesting. They will make sure that they only interview you separately because they may know that in the house they may not be. But you see, this thing boils down to two things: trust. Do you trust your partner with your financial affairs? And it also boils down to um, uh, what do you think is going to happen if something happens to the relationship? A lot of people forget that, God forbid, a husband dies now. Ẹrù yẹn ti di ẹrù ìyàwó nìkan. Or God forbid that the wife dies. There's if people cannot graduate into the we state, there will always be problem with joint account. Now, a joint account is a good idea. They are good because it is better that people put money in a common purse for something to be done. So that if one person cannot do it, but there's a joint account, it can be managed more efficiently so that neither one will feel financial pressure because all this love we are talking, once money enters the matter, it always shrouds it. Now let's go to Nigeria, as Femi was saying. In this country, they don't want there's no in-law. You and your wife, you are doing what you like. Nobody wants to know. It's Nigeria that they start saying she wants to go fine. It's only when men go to beer parlor and they will announce, which they do, and they say, so your wife knows you have this, your wife knows you have that. Kilo day. As if we will not all die one day and all our secrets will be exposed for the world to see. So, I think that some people will never. I don't want to use myself as an example, but I can. In my parents' case, my parents are, very cosmopolitan. They met here. My mom wasn't even born in Nigeria, so she's British, really. And so she had to adopt the Nigerian way of thinking of how we do things there. But in a way, they were not able to start with from scratch, and they never really changed much. So nobody knew outside our house where the money came from. And if you ask your father for money, you can say, go and meet your mother. You don't know what they have discussed with themselves. All you will do is that you will get your money. um, and vice versa. Accounts. In those days, the woman would have the checkbook of the man, and the man will be able to access money from the woman's account.
Yeah.
That was where you didn't have multiple, a man with 4 or 5 wives and a family to just where all the brothers are looking at the property and just saying, they are going to tell the woman that the man has brothers and the woman cannot now be looking at property even if the man has children. These are the Nigerian complication. But in the real sense of things, in an ideal thing, if there is trust and there is no external interference, there should be a joint account, but it doesn't mean that the husband and the wife's financial things should be secret from themselves. They may be private. Everybody is entitled to some privacy. And God knows that when you earn your money, you're entitled to spend it the way you want. You shouldn't, within the limits of not affecting the home. So a man cannot now get his salary and go and be buying designer shoe and the most expensive car when the woman is now struggling to put something on the table. And vice versa, the woman cannot be earning that much, and then she will not be saying to the man, okay, today we are not going to shop in Tesco, we have to go to Harrods and buy the most expensive cake ever. Because that just means that they are not looking at themselves as a partnership. It's as if everybody just wants to make sure that they're securing what they can get from the relationship while it is still good. So if there is a dysfunctional relationship, the best thing is have your separate accounts and just have a joint account, just so that the things that are a joint responsibility are taken care of and everybody has their piece. But where there is a good relationship, the joint account is for more than that. It is sometimes if the man is struggling or the woman is struggling, they can dip into the joint account without necessarily asking the man for money. Because women don't like asking men for money, even though we think they do, and vice versa. But if there's a common pot, which they've been putting money there, essentially the money belongs to both. So one doesn't have to be begging the other one for money, albeit on a temporary basis. So a lot of all these things is just both trust and upbringing. People who grew up, I'm sorry to use this expression, I hope I'm not going to offend anybody. All these what they call
Mr.
olorogun
Femi, please
type
mute.
of thing.
Yeah, hello.
Some of those people, even when they get married, even if a woman is married to a man, the woman's mother will tell her, "Ha, ma derale o." And when you are in that relationship, just make sure you can secure what you want from the relationship, so that if this man goes tomorrow, you will know you have not been cheated. It's a very, very horrible way to bring up a woman child, but it happens. Because the woman will extend her own experience to the daughter. And the same thing with the man. Some men will tell their sons, listen, don't let if you have 1,000 pounds, tell your wife you only have 100 pounds. Women are devilish. Until she spends all that your money finish, she will not get behind your back. These things that parents do, it spoils the children. And sometimes the children don't know better and they teach the same thing to their own children. Now, we live in the Western world. The UK is a bit different from America, although they are still kind of the same when it comes to when marriages go wrong, then they start talking about assets, pension, this and that. In America, my experience in America, their eyes are so hard when it comes to money. That's why they do all this prenup and all these things. Because even though the marriage may last for 10, 15 years, from day one, everybody is protecting their own assets. So when you are having a prenup, how does the issue of joint account even get into the matter? Essentially, people are living together, but they are living separately. They are just doing things. So for the practical purposes of children and maintaining things, whether the relationship is a deep love, trust one or not, have a joint account. But we almost always remember something. We are afraid that relationships can go wrong. Supposing they don't go wrong, then your man will die and go to his grave, and his wife will not know the money that he has. How bad is that? except he's giving it to the lawyer, and then after he dies, they'll come up with all that. And the same thing with the wife. I mean, I can give you 3 examples. My own brother's wife died when she was 40. This was just the same year my father died. My brother was. Do you know that they were supposed to be doing tokochiao, everything going hunky dory? This man, this woman died, and my brother discovered that she had 3 buildings and 2 plots of land. He knew nothing about them. Now she's dead. She has children. They must say, okay, at least we can use this to help to look after the children. But the woman's family will now know it is our sister's stuff. This is Nigeria for you. But
What about her children?
her children are young.
So which one is our sister stuff? It's her children's stuff.
That is exactly what I'm saying. But when she did not, the legal and the knowledge is not in my brother's knowledge. Of course, it's only if he finds out later, and they can say, well, they are not going to give him. And my brother can say, no, she has children. The children need looking after. And they'll say, well, they can say, well, you are the father of the children. Our sister's property does not need to look after her children. And that is it. When it comes to money, it brings out the worst in human behavior. I mean, lots of examples. I have a friend too. His wife was ill. She almost died. It was at the point where she was thinking she might lose her life that the man who was doing 3 jobs here to try and make sure that they don't take house from them discovered that the woman has a plot of land and 2 fully completed buildings, and they were here. And a lot of very strange things happen. Nigeria, it is about the interference from outside. Here, it is about the fact that people do not grow to realize that 2 hands are better than 1. Everybody still wants to maintain their lane within a relationship because they will say, it's a very terrible thing. It just means that people never actually move to the level where they are soulmates and they can trust each other. So, I mean, I don't talk tire. The bottom line is that joint accounts are good. Whether the relationship is deep or not, at least it protects one or the other when things go wrong financially. And the things that need to be done will still need to be done. If the man is not earning that much, he will still put his lot inside the joint account so that things will happen. It is what remains now that he will have to manage. But when everybody is holding on to their own money, we talk about money like this, it takes a very little problem for money problem to show up. Loss of job, downsizing in the office, all the lovey-dovey will just go pear-shaped. You will now realize that all the love, my man can sex me up, he can take me to, everything will just go down. It's all about, what the hell am I doing in this relationship? My father didn't train me to come and be looking after a man. And you have this very sad situation where women will say, we will now give you a long list of the things they did for their children, as if they went to buy these children in Tesco. As if it's not their own children. So a lot of upbringing problem. When people cannot leave all those horrible inheritances that they got from a dysfunctional upbringing. They take it into adulthood. It is very sad. But bottom line, it is. You see,
Dr. Senu, thank you so much. Nana, I want you to jump on this because 2 men have spoken now. And they said, he comes from the women's side, though. You see,
I never said it comes from the women's side.
No,
the women, it is women, and no, I heard what Femi said, and Femi has a right to his opinion, and I'm not disputing it. For me, it comes from both sides. No, don't paraphrase me. Some men's family make the man a bad husband. I have said that. Femi, did I not say that?
You did that. Dr. Senu, you came with violence today.
I'm not coming with violence. I'm
no
just
one cannot play with you. Is it how you used to do?
Nana, she just wants to hear your voice. Don't mind her. Make her shut up.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing today?
Hey, my sister, welcome.
Okay, so a quick one. My opinion, I do not believe in joint accounts. I do not believe couples should have a joint account. And I'll tell you why.
Welcome.
First and foremost, what kaya Allah na annabi ne. Sorry, I have to translate that. What
Mm.
belongs to God, what is of God is of the Nabi of God. My money is my money. My
Welcome.
husband's money is our money.
Ah,
That's the
no problem.
bottom.
Nana, you're not helping me here, please.
Okay, wait. Let me serious now. Most couples, jokes apart, most couples do not have the same financial habits. Let me put it that way. So if there's
Oh,
a joint account, you find that,
financial
one
intelligence.
of them will be
Orientation.
dutifully not orientation habits.
Habits
I, I,
or
I'm,
intelligence.
I'm conscious of the word habits.
Mm.
So when somebody, okay, maybe the husband is very dedicated, see, we're going to have a joint account. I'm going to put money every month. The woman might bring up an excuse. Hey, you know, some people, Yasikira gave birth, this, and there will be an excuse from the woman's side. Unfortunately, in most cases, I agree with Mr. Femi, is the woman that will give a reason not to contribute financially. So that will, at a point, annoy the husband. And then you see that's where trouble starts. On the other hand, there are some few women who are very dedicated. Generally, women are dedicated when it comes to money issues, especially when it's them alone. But when they have to do it in conjunction with a husband, it's like, why can't he do it now? Why am I even contributing in the first place? But when they have, you see, when I have my own account where everything I make, salary, business, whatever goes into, and he has his own too. And at the end of the day, we say, see, we have a project coming up. This project is going to cost X amount, and we're going to be contributing towards that project for the next 1 year. So this is the account we're going to have jointly that will be contributing that project. That account will also be our imprest account. So you need to go and get some groceries. You don't have to tell me, just take it from the account or something like that. But to be the only account they have, no, I don't support that. For a project, for a purpose, for a time limit, yes, but not like everlasting. And this issue, for me, it's a clear-cut thing. I'm a Muslim, and funny enough, the way inheritance or anybody's property is being shared is clear cut. My husband falls down dead now. Me and his children own the money. If his parents are still alive, yes, they are part of it. But it's clear cut. No argument. No sister will come up. No brother will come up. No auntie, uncle will come and tell me anything. Spouse, parents, spouse, and children. The same thing where I live in the United States is the same law. Automatically, if somebody dies right now, no will, nothing. It's spouse and children. So, I mean, I really don't need to know what he makes. So far, you paid all the bills we need to pay. You feed me. Everything is okay for me. I really don't care what you make. At the end of the day, when you fall down and die, if you die before me, I'll get to know. Because I'll get to see the total. I'll know what's accrued to me and what's accrued to the children. So there's nothing to fight about really when it comes to But for me, joint account, no. I know sometimes I could just go on a spendthrift. I'll just like spree and just spend money and I don't care. Bath and Body Works is in discount. I'll go and load. I'll send to Nigeria. That could be offensive. I know that is wrong. And my husband is more strict about money. It's a combination of
Ha!
Jew, Ijebu, and
Nana, I
Igbo.
can't marry you. I can't marry
It's
you.
a,
We fight.
it's a combination of Jew, Ijebu, and Igbo. So when you're spending money, it has to be for a purpose. But for me, I could just I just felt like taking a smoothie, and the smoothie is 15 bucks. Don't you have the same fruits at home? Just grind and pour inside cup. So things like that. And sometimes you might decide to be generous to someone, and like, why would you do that? That's too much to give. So instead of having issues at any point in time, let's both have our individual accounts. We have our own personal accounts. Both of us have our business accounts separately. And then if there's a need will do have a joint account for a project. It's time related, and that's it. I think that's what every couple should do. My opinion.
Okay, Nana, I just want to ask something because we were when I started talking, I was talking about my parents, and but my dad put 100% of his money into the joint account,
Mm,
and my mom gave him an allowance every month. You know, and I've never heard anyone else talk about their parents like that. That my dad will his salary goes into an account, but my mom gives him an allowance from the money. The one
mm.
time I mentioned it to one person, they're like, are you sure your father is a man? He's more man than you and all your ego combined. But let's leave that one there, because it takes a real man to be like, you know what, let the money go in and then my wife give me whatever she wants. But my mom didn't put in 100% of her money. She put in 60% and 40 was
Now, my
kept
mama
aside.
be now.
Abi now. But even you remember now when that whole retirement thing came up, that 40%
Mm,
that she had been keeping over the years is what rescued us.
you
Because
see?
that's what she cracked open and
Yes.
rescued us for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but today's women, our generation,
Mm,
I don't know what happened to us. I've never really come across anybody who thinks like that. That's okay. Oh, I'm going to, even if I'm not contributing 100 to the joint account, that
mm.
money that I'm putting aside is not for latest bag, it's not for latest shoe, it's not for designer. The women will be like, Shebi, I've given 60%. Whatever I do in my 40 is my own. Oh, I want to go to a holiday. I want to kiriko, and they'll be spending money for forgetting that anything can happen at any time.
Yeah, but
And
I think okay. Go sorry. Go ahead.
no, 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 go on, go on.
What I was saying is a lot of we women we do a lot of things that we never talk about.
Mm,
I would tell you authoritatively, without doubt, 60% of Kano households is the women that take responsibility of their children.
mm,
I'm telling you, 60%. And forget Eid is coming. The father will buy clothes for himself and for the children and all that. School fees, medical bills, that is the women that take care of it. They just don't talk about it.
oh,
Most
okay.
women do a lot of things that they don't talk about. So even if they keep money, like, okay, how much is this? Maybe she tells the husband something is 100,000 and she says, it's 150, oh, that extra 50. Believe me, she's going to spend it on her children. Hardly. I'm talking about people of my generation. I'm Generation
Mm,
X. I don't know about the millennials now, but my own generation is what I'm talking about. A lot of women, unless you interact with them, unless you go like off screen and talk one on one, that's when you get to know these facts. But on the surface, his husband, a lot of women will even do things and say, my husband did this, my husband did that, but no, it's from their pocket. They just want to, they don't want to be pitied or they don't want anybody to come and tell them, hey, are you crazy? How can you be doing this? Your husband should do it. But a lot of women do it actually, and they just cover up. Oh, my husband did, my husband did.
but I want to ask, wouldn't it be better? This is just a thought. Wouldn't it be
Mm,
better if there was an account, right?
mm,
Where both of
mm,
them, before entering marriage, you say, okay, you want to marry me, fine. Now we have this house that we want to run.
mm,
Rent go day. Or if we've bought it, maybe mortgage or service charge or whatever,
mm,
something to do with the house or repairs will come. So, okay, you're earning 100,000, I'm earning 80,000. Let's pay 20% of what we are earning into this account. So it will pay for the, you know, repair of the house, the children's school fees. If anybody falls ill, at least that's the first port
mm,
of call we'll go to before we start to look for money outside. All these
mm,
things. So, no ani every month that account must have that money in,
mm,
and maybe some kind of thing, maybe it's like two signatories before money is taken out, or if money exceeds this amount by one person, the other person must be informed before it is actually granted out of the account. Things like that. So those kind of
mm,
what Femi called safeguarding, those kind of
yeah,
safeguards. Wouldn't
mhm,
that be easier on a couple
mhm,
than Everybody keep your own. Then when we need something, we will talk and bring it up.
Yes, but then
Not
if
a
you
talk.
notice at the beginning, I said a joint account should be for a project or an impressed account. So if you decide you want to do this and you're going to run as an impressed account, means anything that comes up, this amount, yeah, you could agree on that and you could be doing it every month. That's not a problem. That's what I choose to give. Okay, I'm earning 100 and I tell you, I could tell my husband I'm earning 50. Shoma Pamini. No cost right now. Bottom line, you want us to be putting money inside this account. School fees, I'm sorry to say, it's a husband's responsibility. I can't even.
Okay.
I'm not saying if the husband cannot afford it, the wife shouldn't, because after all, the children being educated is the most important thing. But a lot of men, especially, I will still bring it back to where I'm from. A lot of men from where I'm from, I'm talking about a lot of experiences I've seen, they tend to relax. If the woman is bringing, let her continue now. They don't want to man up. But when from the beginning, just close, I see, pay school fees, I don't have, they don't go, come and sit down at home, be looking at your father. Then the man will wise up. But when a woman, some men, when the woman starts showing, I can do, they'll just leave it for her to do. Ideally, you see, the responsibilities of the child belongs to the father, 110% of the responsibilities. If genuinely the father cannot afford to, if the woman doesn't do it, then that woman is a fool. Bottom line. But the man should do it. It's his responsibilities. They bear his name. They don't bear the mother's name. At the end of the day, this shouldn't become something. It's my children. House rent, the man should pay. Jeje, the girl, was living in her parents' house without paying rent. He brought her to come and stay with him. Then she should pay rent? Really? Then let her go back to her father's house now when she doesn't pay rent. That's now you talk saying in room for come and buy the day.
But
Jeje was sitting down minding her business. That's how
children,
it
he's
is.
paying rent. Then you say the children too,
Yes,
only him.
he's a man. That's what it means being a
But
man.
because he's a man, you should kill him.
Yes. Or he could remain single. There's no law that said he had to marry you. No law said he had to marry. Nobody put a gun to his head and said marry.
And I struggle to agree with you on this one.
No, but it's true. If the woman chooses to, it's not her responsibility. She's being a good wife. I'll tell you, my husband does everything. But at a point, I said, let me serve Nenu. You understand? I said, you know what? When I go to buy grocery with my money, he repays me immediately. How much is it? I was like, let me show you the receipt. No, just tell me how much is it, and he'll give me back. So sometimes I go to buy, it's like, how much? I don't worry, it's on me. Hey, don't come hey, we laugh about it. Other times I pick up some bills, and I don't worry, this one is on me. Wi-Fi, alone Wi-Fi, let me pay. This, let me pay. It's because I also want to have my own say. But I'm coming from a past that did not allow the right things to be done, and I've learned my lessons. So I'm not good. I mean, what is your responsibility? You should do it. Simple. If I choose to help, I choose to help, and that's the truth.
I just want to work in the most respectful way. Could it be, you gave a statistic that 60% of women in Kano are,
Yes.
most likely
But that's
taking
just
care
my
of them.
opinion. No written record.
Yeah. So could it be that situation because of the situation of polygamy where a man will marry several women and there's only so much he can care for, to be honest. So these women end up having to care for their own children and their own households instead of the man being the one who takes care of it. Could that be the reason why
Yes.
that's that situation?
That's the main reason. That's the main reason. But you also find people in monogamous marriages that are just lazy. They just feel, I mean, I should do it, so why should I bother? Oh, I allow her to work, so why can't she do this? It's like a favor. I did her a favor to allow her to work, so she should spend her salary on the house now. But yes, as you said, majority is because of polygamy. The men, that's why if you remember the former emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido, was saying that the polygamy should stop, and people did not understand what he meant. This is a typical scenario. This man is as poor, I mean, I'm just kidding, Mr. X is as poor as they come. And he has a wife and 2 children, managing their life. Whatever they see, they eat, and they're managing their lives. He decides that, oh, you know what? It is said, this is not in the Quran. A lot of people say this, but it's not in the Quran. It's not anywhere in Islam that when you're poor, marry another wife. No. People just, it's a cultural thing, not Islam, but they tend to blame it on Islam. No, it's not. Anyway, so people are poor and they decide to marry another wife. Maybe I'm going to be rich, but I marry a second wife. So the second wife called. Meanwhile, this man has room and parlor. What is room and parlor? 1 room apartment. Now he has 2 wives. So they put a curtain. I'm not talking about 1 person, 10 people, 20. I'm talking about a lot of people. This happens. They put a curtain to demarcate the room section of the room and the parlor section of the room. Now remember, 2 wives. So maybe 1 week this wife's turn, the other week that wife's turn. When is the wife's turn? And they gist you. I've witnessed with my eyes such arrangements. They carry the wife whose turn it is behind the curtain. That's where the bed is. The other wife, who is not, it's not her turn. She's on the outside with the children. So over years, this man is still as poor as they come. He has not been able to move out of that house. These children are growing because it's now competition. First wife had 2. This one wants to beat first wife. She has 3. First wife talk say Apotito Lara Igi. She goes on, she gives birth to more. So they have so many children. So some are grown, maybe teenagers. They're beginning to understand what goes on behind the curtain at night. So because of that, the boys among them get to sleep outside, like on the frontage of the house, like the veranda. Then the girls go to maybe neighbor's house where it's a little bit more comfortable. They could sleep with the neighbor's daughters. Now, this man, throughout the duration of the night, when his children are outside, he's with his wife behind the curtain. What are your boys doing outside? You don't know. They could have been robbing people. Then the girls, what are they doing in that house? You don't know. Maybe those girls are living in that house. They go out at night and they do, all crazy. And they take your daughters along.
Brother, that's the girls.
This is the problem. So at the end of the day, the whole society is scattered. Why? Because of polygamy that shouldn't have taken place. So that's what the emir then was saying, and people don't understand. They say, you have 4 wives, and you say we should not marry. He said, this is what leads to decay in society. You can't marry, you can't marry. I mean, wait till you can, not by force. They talk, say, if you don't marry 2 wives, enter heaven. There's no law that says you have to marry many wives. There's no law that says it, but people just take it upon themselves. But anyway, that's neither here or there. So yes, polygamy is the beginning of the society, in some cases, decaying when it's not done right. Please, I'm not, those that like polygamy, please enjoy your polygamy. I'm not discouraging people from doing that.
A person that has just joined us that loves polygamy die, and he has been laughing, and I'm so excited to call him.
Okay.
PK1 of StreamYard.
So there's nothing wrong with polygamy.
Yes, sir.
There's the fact that there can be when once poverty enters anything that he enters goes bad.
True.
Right? So polygamy is what raised my father's generation. Right? Unfortunately, my grandfather, who is smarter, who I now find out is smarter than all of them, sent them to school. Then one of back Parowale, because they took. As far as I'm concerned, when I analyze it, yes, when I analyze it now, they basically went and exchanged their basic intelligence for book intelligence. So now we have problems that we can't solve, right? Yeah. So there was not, as far as I know, polygamy had its problem. But what I have learned about education is you're supposed to go, you're supposed to learn it, and you're supposed to use it to better your life, to exchange. True. Not to exchange the intelligence you had before for what they deliver to you. For example, just very quick example, shea butter has always been part of our system. But we threw it away and started using Vaseline. I've only just started using shea butter again, and there's such a difference. How did we not make that a product we're exporting long ago? Because basically, when my father's generation went to school, it was no longer good. It had to be the cream that they taught them is the good cream. Right? So that's by the wayside. But the thing that made me log on is when Abby said that if you're a real man, you submit all your side. Which kind of nonsense talk is that?
I didn't say that. Hey,
No, that they were saying that if you're a real man,
She was giving an example with her dad, and I know she loves her dad. Then next thing she went and said, the real men. Okay, let me talk about that income thing, since that's the topic of the day.
Wait. Let me defend my father. I didn't
No. I have nothing against your dad, though. I know what you said.
No. But what I'm saying is, I didn't say that if you're a real man, you will do what my father did. I said I have not come across any man who has been able to do what my father did successfully.
Okay.
Because his salary went into the account. He never had. Sorry, he never had to, fight anybody. He never had to fight with his wife over money. Because like what Nana is saying, once that money entered the account, even to the petrol that enters the car, is my mother's business.
That's because so let me tell you what was going on, because I think I understand what might have been going on. I cannot understand it more than you. It is an identification of a unique skill set. So the man looked at the woman he married and understands it didn't just start when you the children realized it. It had been in time from before they conceived both of all of you, right? The man already identified that this woman knows how to make money last, in short.
Yes.
And so basically he delivered it into her hands for her to do her thing. The same way, at a point in time, it was the woman who had the special skills of kitchen. Not all. And for that purpose, you will see men that basically did not bother going to the kitchen. It was part of strategy as a united front. When it comes to money also, right? When it comes to money, there are still some men that realize, actually, you don't even have a choice. At a point in time, we had one income in my own home when I was married. And for that one income, instead of me to be saying, take this one and be managing, I will go to the bank and get 2 cards on that income. So that I don't want to be hearing something like, I want to go to the market, just go and buy what you need to buy. Right? So there was always 2 cards until income became 2. Then I started hearing new stories. I started hearing stories like my money is my money, your money is our money. I started hearing, and I'm now wondering that for the last 10 years,
your money is our money.
For the last 10 years, it's been one income, 2 cards all the time, right? Then now the thing is 2 incomes. I'm trying to say, but this time it was almost like when there's so that's number one thing is for a couple. My own recommendation is for a couple to identify the person who is better at money and let that person handle money matters. All right? So that you submit the money and that person who is in charge of money matters can basically take care of the distribution, including what you need to basically go and spend on whatever you want to spend on. It's all part of proper budgeting. But in the case, that's the higher, I think that's the ideal way to do it. But in our real life scenario now, where everybody has become woke, more like stupid, but they call it woke, right? Now, and they basically exchange their basic traditional intelligence for educated and let me stop with educated intelligence in quotes, right? The next good thing to do is what I've heard, where everybody brings in into a common pot the expenses of the family. You put in that amount. You can decide to make it 50-50, or you can decide to make it a percentage. And then every other individual basically keeps whatever is left and they invest it anyhow they want or spend it anyhow that's the next best thing. But the real best thing is to identify the person who is gifted with money, let that person handle money matters if you are a team. But these days, people are not People are not team. People are where this thing is more transactional now than sacrificial. So we basically again have used the new intelligence, the new education to wipe away the good things that we had, where it was sharing, where it was a social unit, into a transactional unit now. You bring this, I bring that. If you can't bring this, you're not meeting your obligation. Next thing is basically, let's see how we can end this contract. That's the reality now, right? So that's my own
Please, MR,
contribution.
can you show me your face? It's just that we have weird people who have been trying to join. So I'm needing to see the faces of whoever wants to join now before I can add them, because I don't want to add anyone. Like we had last week, someone was actually wanking on air. So I'm
Wow.
sorry, but I can see an MR. I think it's Matarazzi, but I need to see a face. I can't just add anyone, you know. Kayode, you are very, very correct in what you've said. My mother, and me and my mother, we don't see eye to eye, but I will always like respect that woman. That my mother was a woman who was selling kerosene and selling echo, and was able to, from her shilemeji back then, 2 shillings, build enough to send herself to school and contributing to the household. So and then when she came to England, even though she was promised that she would be sent to school, instead they put her to work. And even in that work, she was still grafting and making that 2 pennies become 20 pounds. So my father recognized that this is a woman that, if 1 naira should enter her hand, it will turn to 1,000. It made perfect sense to leave her in charge of the money. Because my dad is not like, you know how much I love my dad, but my dad wasn't, he's like, it's money, we'll spend it. But my mother is not like, we don't spend like that.
He was spending like a soldier. And now you're frozen.
So we're not mad. We will use our head. So you are, yeah, she was spending money like, you know what? Is her father that printed it, so she has to make sure that is a certain amount that comes out. Martha, please, if you can just put your camera on so I can see, that would be great, please. Because I'm still waiting for you to do that. If that is MR.
Man could be anything. It could be Mr.
So I completely agree with you that it's a matter. Oh wait, let me see. There's a message. Hold on. Because if it's private chat, then at least I know it's the right person I'm talking to. Just bear with me, oh. Martha said I couldn't comment on YouTube. I just came to ask if Kayode needs more wives. Okay, let me add that on so you can ask
I
directly.
I need more wives, please.
Nana already has like people who love her so much. They are agreeing with her left, right, and center. But Martha wants to know. She wants to know, do you need more wives? Oh, yeah, Martha, ask your question.
I need more wives. My answer is yes, I need more wives, please. But
maybe she has follow-on question. Calm down. Let's be calming down, Mr. I need more wives. So yeah, Martha.
No, Tell me to ask you a question. I must answer. Okay, go on. Sorry. Maybe she's using analog. Nitel.
Okay, but when she comes on, I'm sure she has follow-on questions. But okay, we've been talking and we've heard different views, and I just want to quickly read out some of the comments. Okay, I think she sent another chat. Let me just see on the slow side. Have you seen what she said in the chat? Okay, she then said, will you accept more husbands too? So a polyamorous marriage. Kayode has vexed her. Your question chased Kayode off the forum matter. Okay, so because we are running out of time, so I just want to go through the comments. So Omobala Okeo said network is terrible, Haba. And then Sister Bidun said, good evening, everyone. And then Oluwabumi said, nice topic. Sister Bidun said, Dr. Seno, welcome on board. And then Omobala said, network is better, thanks. Sorry, just listening while doing a task. Interesting topic. I'm not very familiar on the topic, so couldn't say much, but I'm learning. And that's the thing, you don't have to have something to say, but when we come and we have this discussion so that we all can learn something. Because I've learned something here now. I've learned, that whenever a man comes to me, I'll be like, oh, Ogbero, your money is our money. I don't know how that will work in the UK, but we will see. Then Stebidu said, welcome, Nana. Bola said, very true. Parents pass their experience to children and teach them based on it, which is very true. Then Dr. Adelami said, Dr. Senu, what do you prefer? Dr. Senu did actually tell us which one he preferred. He just gave the general, here is this, here is that, choose which day, you shall go. And then Sister Rita said, Dr. Senu preferred joint account.
No. Dr. Senu said you should have a joint account, but you must have your own accounts as well. How can you be having joint accounts like that? Joint account is a third account. It's not the main account. It's
Okay.
a maintenance account for joint responsibilities. You must have your own individual accounts, 3 or 4 if you want. But just have one joint account. That's all. No joint account.
Okay. Okay, so when you've heard Nana and what she said, what's your comments on that, Mr. Femi? I also wanted to ask you, did you have any comments on what Nana
On
said?
what Nana said. Okay, maybe
Yes.
Femi, do okay. I was listening to Nana and I was trying to reflect on what she said, and what she's giving is a very an interesting mindset of where a man has no money, he has 2 wives, he's living in one room. That is hardly the ideal. Why would you want to not let a man like that to do the responsibilities that he's supposed to do? Because obviously, if you don't, he will just continue to use the woman to maintain his marital status. Because, as for instance, let me just divert. I have a friend, even in this country, and sorry, this had nothing to do with Islam. This man is an Alaji. Alaji has had 5 wives and he's had children with each of these wives. The attitude he gives me is that it is the women that own the child. Therefore, Alaji can do Babandagbe. Let the women be looking after their own children. Now, if I'm a woman, and I know that that is the kind of man that I am, as far as I'm concerned, he's going to do everything he can during the marriage and after, because the woman didn't carry belly, she didn't go and buy the children in Tesco. She had them for him.
That's
So,
everything.
yeah. So I can understand where a woman comes and says, listen, the education is the duty of the man. Those things, well, you can't really change the way people think about these things. But what you can do is realize that in a modern world, it's not a question of whether he's able to or not. The circumstances can change without notice. There must be contingency plans. But nobody is saying that somebody else should do what they're... You define your roles. What somebody said about your parents is very true. Very, very true. Your parents knew themselves before you guys arrived. Any sort of things they are doing, they've known themselves. So their father could do what he did with your mother because he has studied her. But in this world of nowadays, where we do 6-month courtship and we marry, and then 2 years down the line we start seeing all sorts of behavior, both the man and the woman. It just shows that there's a failure of decent relationship. So many relationships are dysfunctional, and money brings out the worst. So when I say joint account, my own idea of joint account is have somewhere you both put money so that it is there, but maintain your normal accounts. She called it a project account. In a way, that's kind of what it is from where I'm coming from too. It's for a project. The project, and I don't believe that education should solely be a man's thing. I paid for my children's education. I did what they call man thing. But sometimes I look back and think, while I was busy doing education for children, paying their school fees, paying for their holidays, Madame was busy helping her own mother build house. Did my own parents not need house too? If there was some degree of financial pressure on her, then I would do my paying school fees, which is fine. Because my children will look at me today and say, Dad was a good dad. He re-educated us. And they still say that. They are lovely children. But I don't think that there's any one rule that works for everybody. My own is that whether man kill snake, wife kill snake, so
As
far
long
the
as the
snake die.
snake is dead.
Anyway, I will say less on that. But yeah, so I think Nana's point of view is shared by a lot of people. And for
Oh, she
reasons
has
of
supporters. Oh, I'm
no,
going
no,
to
no,
read all
no,
of
and
them.
I'm not saying that they are wrong. I'm just saying that you can't divorce yourself from the things that you grew up learning. You can adapt, but you can't, because you will always fundamentally be that is the way it's supposed to work. Now, what I would say to Nana, just as an aside, is that if somebody, that kind of person who grew up in Kano, saw all the things they did, just now go to Yankee, come meet one Yankee guy who is not, who doesn't share all those values, and they are doing love, love, love. They are going to struggle, because they are going to have to ask themselves, what are we doing together? Our values they are not matching. Because someone will say, what are you saying? Whereas the person talking is talking complete sense as far as they are concerned. So it boils down to compatibility. Where are both of you coming from? Have you studied yourself? What works for you? Yes, a man might be better at managing money when it comes to business. A woman might be better at managing money when it comes to the home. Men and women actually own joint businesses together. With the home business money, the woman runs it. The business money for the business, the man runs it. Different skills. So there's no one size fits all. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'll stop there.
Okay, Mr. Femi, what are your thoughts? Martha, I don't know what's going on. I hope you can join us and talk, please.
Yeah, what do you say? Can you hear me?
Yes. Nana,
Can you hear
please
me?
be
Hello?
ready to give your rebuttal.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Femi.
If true,
We have just 5 minutes, so I need you to be sharp to the point.
um, uh, yeah, my point in um, I think that does not float with me, and I don't think I will ever.
Is it me or Mr. Femi is
Talk for
hooking a
that
lot?
kind of has, and then what is his is us.
Easy.
Hello?
I think it's from his end. Though.
Can you hear me
Oh,
clearly?
okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
We hear you, and then all of a sudden it freezes and we can't hear you again. Che. Okay. Okay. Nana. Well, I think I heard him say that it will not fly with him. You know,
Okay.
that he will not be able to,
I
he will
think
not be
he's
able
back now.
Oh, okay. Mr. Femi, are you back? Hello? Hello? No, it's
Yeah,
not.
I'm back.
Or
Yeah,
maybe he
let me
could
hear you.
type.
I think
Okay.
it's from my end. Maybe my internet is
He
Or he
said
could
it was
type
from
what
his
he
my
was
end.
internet
saying.
is not stable.
Yeah, he was saying it was from his end, but if you can type your response, that would be great, please, because we can't hear you. So yeah, but I think he was saying that it will not fly with him, and I can imagine a lot of men in the UK just going when you were talking. So Nana, yeah, please round up for us on this, then I can
Okay,
read out
so
the
a
comment.
quick one. They said, you see, when I say Kano, I was not brought up in Kano. So I'm just saying that's where I'm from, but I wasn't brought up there. And funny enough, I came to the United States and I met somebody who behaves like a Kano person, who knows responsibilities, who knows he's supposed to do everything he's supposed to do. So, Dr. Shedu, I said, if somebody goes somewhere else, no, I in Kano, I've seen, as I said, is the norm, but do people do it? No, the men are irresponsible. I'm sorry to say, so many men are irresponsible. They don't take what they're supposed to take seriously. But yes, they're all over the world. A right-thinking man, even in the United States, as bad as they say the men are here, a right-thinking man wants to take up responsibilities for his family because it's the right thing to do. It's a, I mean, really, if you want to have mouth in your house, self, you won't say your wife should be carrying bill. Then you come one day and like, where's dinner? Dinner, Tibo. Who are you to ask for dinner? What did you do? So basically, I think for me, it's about the man knowing what is right and doing what is right, in my opinion, regardless of where the person is.
Okay.
It could be anywhere, yes. But a man should take up responsibilities of the family. A wife too, please, women, don't go and sit down, be buying gold or something unreasonable. Your children are also your responsibility. You brought them to this world. They should not suffer. If the husband is not doing what he's supposed to do, please, you as a mother, do it. Don't say it's his job. If he doesn't do it, it's your shame. If the children end up being useless, it's going to be the mother's shame at the end of the day. A good child is the father's child. A bad child is whose child? So if the husband is not doing it, I beg, ignore. The children belong to you. You don't want to see your children suffer. You want to give them the best of life. So don't say because it's not doing it, you're not going to do it. That's not what I said. Oh, please. I'm not even condoning that at all.
Okay, I'm extending the show by 5 minutes, but I want to ask you a question, Nana. So if the
Okay.
man is like, well, nobody can come and kill Jackie in this place, so I'm not paying anything, and he doesn't pay, and the woman now takes up responsibility and starts to
Mm.
feed her children and everything. For example, or for a scandal, as my friend will say, for a scandal, the woman now cooks. She's the one who goes, gets the money, buys groceries, cooks, and serves the children. Then the man now
Mm.
comes in from outside and says, "Where's my food?" Is he entitled to food in that house?
As a matter of fact, he's not entitled to it. But again, what I tell women when such things come up, I tell them, can you feed the almajiri outside? Can you feed the poor person outside? Then feed him. If you can, if the food
So
is
you're
enough,
basically
if the food
so
is enough, give it to him. If it's not enough, please just feed your
so
children and yourself.
wow. No pardon.
Serious.
I'm
If it's
trying
not
to read.
enough, feed your children are the priority. If there's extra, give it to him. What will it cost you? It will just keep. If somebody eats your sweat, especially if the person does not deserve it, God will keep blessing you. God will never stop you from having what you should have, what you should take care of your children with. So if the man wants to be useless, let him continue being useless. At the end of the day, these children see you. These children know what happens. You might
Nana,
think you're hiding from them. Yes.
Matarazzi
What if,
says,
if the
did you
man is
see that?
useless? If the man,
Did I see
Oh,
what?
okay. No, I was about to read, but then she said, well, did you see that meme? Allah, come and see the men you sent to be providers asking to split bills. But Martha is speaking herself. So, Martha, speak, please.
no, I just wanted to ask. So if the man is continuing to be useless, then what's the point of continuing to live together or stay in the marriage?
That's a question for you, Nana. They can't hear you. Nana, I don't know what happened, but we can't hear you. Mr. Femi said that kind of relationship cannot fly with me. Relationship is found on mutuality. But Nana, I don't know what's happening with your. Oh yeah, speak. Let's see whether I can hear you. I know, still can't
Hello?
hear you. What? Something's happened.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Martha.
Okay. Can
Aha, Nana's come on. Oh, she's gone off. Okay, Martha, you were saying?
No, I was just asking to I was just banking on the her comments because like
Yeah,
she was
because
saying if the man
if the man is useless, then why continue to have a relationship with him? Now, I think, especially when they're coming from, I can't speak for Nana. I hope that she can come up. But if I were to speak generally, especially in a culture where divorce is so heavily frowned upon. I mean, more and more people are getting divorced, but it's still heavily frowned upon. And it's like, small wahala you build out of a relationship. There's this innate thing to do your hardest to. Hello? I got
Can you hear
booted
me?
out. Yeah, I can hear you.
Ah,
Hey, oh yeah, Nana, take over. Take over.
so I said I didn't hear her question. The call came in. I was trying to, is that call that confused my audio, Jerry?
Okay, hey, oh yeah, Martha.
No, I was asking because you were
Yeah.
saying, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes,
you.
yes.
Okay, I was asking, just following what you were saying. So, but then if the man continues to be useless, then like at what point is it like, do you just continue treating him as an almajiri, or like at what point is that a done deal?
Up to the point you can't take it anymore. It's when
Yeah.
you can't take it anymore. Forget family, forget every society and everything. If it gets to a point you can't take it, if you keep forgiving and forgiving, like the Holy Book says, if you want to keep forgiving and there's no limit to your forgiving, yes, go ahead. But when it gets to that point that you can take it no more, only you can decide. And when it gets to that point, man, leave. I hate divorce, oh, but rather than die in a marriage, man, me move. But it's only you that can make that decision. Nobody can use any yardstick to measure it for you. I mean, not you. I'm
Yeah.
just talking about the person involved.
Yeah, sure. I get that.
Mm,
Because a similar incident just recently, a friend, like a distant friend, is just trying to get a divorce. Just something
mm,
similar. They got married, she's been carrying the family, and of course, nobody hears about it. And trying to push
mm-hmm,
some jobs like contracts and stuff his way. And his attitude, even towards the contract, like, okay, let's go and print the documents. And then just like a tax, like, okay, you go. The other time, she was like, the sun is too hot, he couldn't go out. It's like, wait, so is it this is for a job for you, something, and then the
this is
ones
so
that he
funny.
eventually pulled through, he didn't cut, like he took the money. She found out like he was meeting babes online, and to the point where the girls would call her and
Mm.
insult her. And so just recently now she's tried to get a divorce. And but then, because in my head I'm thinking like, I don't know, I just feel like from the not from the beginning, but like if somebody is not, I think that especially it's one thing if a man isn't providing for his spouse, that is
Mm.
already bad enough. But if you're not providing for your children, if you're not
Mm.
even making an attempt, like you don't even feel, at least
Attempt,
feel
yeah.
remorseful, feel like, oh, I wish I
Mm.
could. But if you're just
Mm.
there, like manna will fall. And
It
for me, I
doesn't.
just feel like that's a deal breaker. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, yeah. That's the term, deal breaker. I think we were talking about it last time, Abby. You're
Yeah, we
saying deal
talked about
breakers. Mhm.
breakers. Yeah,
So if that's the
yeah.
deal breaker for her, then let her move. Nobody should even talk her out of not moving. Move. Go on with your life. She has how many children? Two, three? How many children?
She had two children.
I've seen women with five children that married bachelors, rich bachelors. After five children, walked out of a marriage and married. One is an ex yourself. Abby, I'll tell you about her. She had
Okay.
four children. She walked out of a marriage because the guy was like, he was the star boy. How can you walk out on star boy? So she had enough. She married a bachelor.
Hmm.
Bachelor.
Bachelor. Ibi táwa,
After
we
four
people are not
children,
even see bar. Talk less
this
of chair, talk less
bachelor,
of legs.
more star boy sef than her ex.
It's
She'll
like
find a better
I
when
guy
keep
than
saying it.
Remanda.
Married women have more game than single
I
women.
dey
I'm
tell
telling you.
you.
Divorced women have
one
more
of
game than
the
single women.
Martha, but
sorry,
let her
one
move.
of
Let her be
the
happy with herself. Let her
one
move
of
on.
the guys who was commenting was
Mm.
saying said something like these days where people are dating for 6 months, something like that. But then, because I don't think that's even a problem at all. If we remember back in the day, there were lots of arranged marriages. You didn't even need to know who you were getting married to. It was like, oh, your
Mm-hmm.
families have set it up. And so short term courtship isn't at all the problem because like this girl, she said the only thing that he bought in that house, that's plus house rent plus everything is just the TV so that he can be watching football or
God
whatever.
sports.
That in the
Mm.
whole house
You see why
for
we collect the pay
years,
in my
like they've
part
been
of
married. The
Nigeria. We collect
only
the
thing,
pay, you spread
not
ahead.
NEPA bill, not NEPA, no
Mm.
water, nothing. The only thing that he bought in the entire house was just the
Mm.
TV. So
Okay, ladies, I
I
because I'm
find it very
aware that
strange.
Mm.
sorry,
But like
I'm aware that we are
as
now
to
two
the
hours and 10 minutes in. So
Ew.
we are yes, we are way over. So please
Okay.
don't go anywhere. Let me just
Mm-hmm.
round off the show and then we can continue in the after party. And I was going to talk about my birthday, but I don't think I can even do that now. Okay,
Talk.
so I'll quickly read the contents. Sister Bidu says, "I support you, Nana." And Victorious B, I don't know who that is, but Victorious B says, "I'm with you, Nana." And I say, "Yes, we do a lot of cover up." Victorious B says, "Joint account works for our children born in the Western world." Bidu says, "It's a man's responsibility to pay for house rent and children and education." And she said, "Nana is like me." Then Ona Ewe Oya, I don't know who that is, was laughing. Victorious B says, "Yes, doctor." They were saying something to Dr. Senu and said,
Mm-hmm.
Adelami says, "I concur with Dr. Senu." And then Stabidu said, "I understand." Onoewe Oya says, "Wow." Omobola says, "Mrs. Nana, I agree. Children are both a man and woman's responsibility. Women should still take care of their children no matter what, but men should help definitely." Then
No,
Stabidu
men
said,
should take care. Women should help. It's the other way.
okay, okay, it's the other way around. Then Stabidu said it's fluctuating. And then it's up to you if the man is useless. Oh, then she says, "I'm BB on IICC." Okay, so Victoria's B is BB. Welcome. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who's tuned in. I didn't think the show was going to be 2 hours, talk less of going over. I really, really appreciate it. I wish we could continue. This is our last show for the year 2020. We are going on break. We're going to be bigger, better, everything in the year 2023 by God's grace. My birthday
Mm-hmm.
is in 2 days, so happy birthday to me. And I also want to say a big shout out to Dan, who is my birthday mate, and he was the one who did my new glasses. I'm going to take pictures and put it out for you people to see. It's a serious something. So please, all of you who are already on the forum, please don't go anywhere because we have the after party. We can then continue our conversation. But just want to say to everyone who's tuning in, thank you for being such amazing people for the entire year of 2022. You guys made it. Every time it seemed like, hey God, what am I doing? You always made it that I felt, okay, you know what, I'm doing the right thing, because we need conversations like this. We need conversations, this kind of I'm sorry, I know, well, yeah, I'm trying to get the name because it's all one name and my brain is saturated right now. So please, you can just tell me your first name. I am sorry. I apologize. I apologize. I apologize.
She calls herself Love and Light. She's that Love and Light lady that likes food. Eh? That Delta lady. That
Oh,
fine
this is
Delta lady
Sister
with the
Harry.
radio
Is that
voice.
Sister Harry?
It's because she combined her name now. She is Honor, Love and Light. And she
Oh, oh, oh,
so
oh,
now you
oh,
know
oh.
her. Yeah.
I
It's
Because
It's the
you
same
know
one
you
now.
are. You
The
see,
one
you
that
cause confusion. Is it
speaks
that
as
cause
if her
confusion?
husband is a millionaire. Probably is. Okay, anyway, sorry. Let me not say the wrong thing.
Don't go anywhere, Dr. Sedu. Let me
Eh,
come back. Everybody else kind of they try and come back. But thank you so much for tuning in. Truly, truly appreciate you. I wish you guys all a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful transition into the new year. We will not cry over anyone. We will not lose anyone. Nobody's going to fall ill. No one's going to become poor overnight and things like that. We all will have cause to rejoice. I'm going to be another year older in 2 days. And I know people don't like growing old,
woo.
but you know what? Me, I'm grateful to God, though, that I even have the opportunity. Because growing old is not a right, it is a privilege. And I'm grateful to God for that privilege. So, till we do this next year, take care and God bless you, each and every one of you. Bye.
Bye.
Don't go,
Bye.
don't go, don't go.